to another edition. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Rod's Random Reviews. I'm going to talk about an RV maintenance checklist and the essential steps for smooth travel. You know, we're all out there traveling in our RVs, and you might be new to RVing and you just want to know some simple checklist before you head out. So this is Rod's Random Reviews. Thanks for watching, and let's see what we have here. Okay, before you go out on a trip, you want to do your pre-trip inspection. So we're talking about checking your tires, the tread depth, the sidewall cracks, things like that. Make sure your lug nuts are tight. You want to check your brakes, make sure you're working properly. Check your lights, things like that. All your fluids. Maybe you have DEF if you got a diesel engine. All your interior lights. Last thing you want to do is get out there on a camping trip and be in the dark. Also check your fluids, obviously engine oil, transmission, brake fluids, and again, windshield wiper, things like that. Of course, you gotta get your water, right? If you're boondocking, you need water, you need fuel, you need all your essentials there. And then check your battery terminals and things like that as well. All right, on the monthly basis, you want to check that generator out. You know, you should be running your generator at least 30 minutes every month and under a load. So turn on the heater in the winter, run the air conditioner in the summer. Just running the generator with no load does a little bit of good, but it kind of damages, I don't say damages it, but in the long haul, you know, your generator will be well off if you better off if you run a load on it, so at its maximum capacity if need be. Check your oil levels, you know, things like that on your generator. Your water system, you know, you want to sanitize your fresh water tank, not monthly, but you know, we do ours 2 or 3 times a year, you know, depending on how hot the weather is and things like that. Propane system, check it out. You know, these are common sense type things, but just thought I'd throw a video out there just as a reminder for all of you. But slide outs, yeah, you need to spray those lubricants. You can buy those at Lowe's or an RV place, things like that. Similar to what you use on your garage door openers at home. Well, think about that. You need the rubber kind. So your HVAC system as well, you know, you want to clean or replace your air filters and, run your AC and your heater. Best to run it monthly, you know, air conditioner obviously in the summer and your heater in the winter to make sure everything's working properly. The last thing you want, you know, is go out on a trip and something not be working, right? So let's jump over to quarterly. The roof seals, you know, get up there and take a peek around, look for cracks and tears, reseal them as needed. Wash and wax. I try to wash and wax my RVs. I actually have 2, a Super C and a Gretsch. But try to wash and wax them, you know, at least, well, wash more often, but wax maybe once a year if you can. This says quarterly, but the awning, you know, you want to check your awning. Don't leave the awning out, you know, if you're going to be leaving your RV. Even though you have one of these automatic things, if the wind comes up, it's supposed to retract. But, you know, you want to clean your solar panels like this photo. If you want to maximize your solar panels, we have solar panels on both of our RVs. And, you know, it doesn't collect a whole lot of energy, but every little bit helps. You know, you don't have to run your ion batteries or your lithium batteries as hard, or your generator as hard if you, keep those solar panels clean and clean out those tanks. Yeah, last thing you want is an issue with your black and gray water tanks, right? Okay, on an annual maintenance, check your engine out, your chassis, especially, you know, if you actually have a motor home. You know, some people watching this may have travel trailers, which is fine. A lot of these systems, you still got to check all the things I just talked about. Brake system, you know, you want to make sure you have that. We have air brakes on our Freightliner Super C, and just make sure they're working well. Your wheel bearings, you know, your appliances, whether it be your refrigerator, things like that. Microwave, make sure they're working properly, and you want to have plenty of fuses and backup plans, when some of those pop. All your safety equipment, especially your carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors, we have multiple carbon monoxide. We're just, trying to be extra safe. So we have the ones that come with the RV, and then we have extra ones just for grins. Don't want to have an accident. All right, so here's a bonus tips for smooth travel. We like to keep a logbook of when we leave home and when we return, and talk about some of the sights along the way. We maybe even jot down how many gallons of diesel fuel we bought, how much DEF we bought. We always take, like I said, extra bulbs and water hose washer. We have a couple of toolkits that we take with us as well. We do have a surge protector. You got an expensive rig, you want to make sure it stays working well. You don't want to blow up your electrical system, so we always use a high-end surge protector. You might want to do some maintenance reminders and things like that. But the bottom line is, don't sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat the large stuff either. I mean, stuff's going to happen to you. It is the RV lifestyle. So if you have some ideas on tips before you leave, maybe it's packing, things like that, monthly tips, quarterly tips, annual tips, comment. That's how we all do on our social media and YouTube and RVing, as we help each other out as best we can. So thanks for watching Rod's Random Reviews. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all those things. The only reason I do this is to kind of help others out. Thanks, y'all.